Hello and welcome back to the IRN-CRU. This is the preview crew. We are the Scottish American football podcast, made in Scotland by Gridiron lovers. I've totally mangled that. You can tell it's getting late here. It's back at 10 on Thursday evening, and we have been previewing the first half of the week 14 games. This is the preview for the second slate of games, the later slate of the Sunday games, as well as the Monday night football matchup as well. So we'll get right into it, guys. I'm joined by Andy and Danny. Guys, we all still good?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
Going strong, mate.
We've had some good discussion so far, so let's keep that going. We are now looking at heading to the desert for the next one, State Farm Stadium in Arizona for the Seattle Seahawks trip to the Arizona Cardinals. Now, this could be a really, really good matchup. Both teams have been doing quite well recently. 2 wins in the bounce for the Seahawks. We beat the 49ers. We beat the Jets last week. And then we're going to take on the Arizona Cardinals, who they're a fun team to watch. They're reminding me a little bit of, Andy, your Detroit Lions, just how they seem to be starting to pick up a couple of really, really good, interesting weapons. Trey McBride is a player we mentioned in the previous podcast. You've got players like Marvin Harrison Jr. there. Of course, Kyler is just doing wonders with that team. What do you make of this matchup then? Who are you rooting for in this one?
I don't know who I'm rooting for, but I do think this could be game of the week sort of potential. Like, I really like both these teams. And I think Cardinals, you said about the Lions, but like it's the defensive side of the ball. Like, there's a lot of the scheme is really fun to watch, and like who's blitzing, who's coming from which side. And you've seen a bit of that last week, obviously, against Minnesota. The defense actually played a good game for large spells of that. So, again, and then on the flip side, Geno Smith and the Seahawks have really picked up. They went through a bit of a blip mid-season, and they've found their feet again. The defense looks like it's stepping up as well. Maybe the players are sort of understanding the scheme a bit more. And I really like the look of Leonard Williams right now. I don't know, as a Seahawks fan, you might be able to say, Keith, but seems a bit underappreciated for the role he plays. I don't know.
Very much so, and I will admit I'm one of those terrible Seahawks fans that only really manages to catch the highlights. Last week was the first full game that I've watched in a long time, and it was brilliant to see. Leo Williams was dominating throughout, and to get that pick as well was just incredible for him. Throughout the game, it was just an absolute force, and it's just came at the right time. As you said, they seem to, since the bye, we've seemed to get what Mike McDonald's wanting from the defense and what he's expecting from them. And is it Baldinger that does the wee video clips and looking back and talking through them, and he did one focusing on the Seahawks and just how everybody knows what they're meant to do and everybody knows where they're meant to be, and just the aggression that we're playing with and the smartness. It's just brilliant to see, and that's kind of what the Seahawks is based on, is a good solid defense and a strong run game. And with Kenneth Walker coming back into a bit of form, I'd just love to see him at the goal line running over it as well, instead of Charbonnet getting a chance there. But I'm very enthused about the Seahawks this season. We're doing a lot better than I was expecting. I thought this was going to be much tougher transition, but absolutely delighted with it. I want to see a wee bit more from DK Metcalf, but as Patrick says to you last week, if DK is who's such a threat, he'll be getting double coverage quite a lot, and it's opening it up for players like Jackson Smith and Jigba, who's really just flourishing at this stage in the season. He's turning into a great slot player originally, but I think we're going to see a lot more from him, especially as Tyler Lockett is getting that wee bit older as well. So yeah, I'm very enthusiastic about the Seahawks, how we're doing, and how the season's going to go. I was thinking we could be a wee push for a wild card, but if we keep this up, we might actually win the division, which is wild. Danny, were you thinking of the game then?
I think it'll be a close one. I think I'm swinging towards Arizona. I think again they're doing some really good stuff, but they're a bit inconsistent now. Trey McBride has been an absolute revelation again this season. He's got a good case for being the best quarterback in the league. Bloody tight end in the league.
Tight end.
Yeah. Jesus, it's definitely about half 10 in it. It's almost my bed.
But
no, I think just what's at stake in this game. You know, these teams faced off 3 weeks ago, was it? It was like 16-6 or something like that. It wasn't exactly a great game, but there was that storm going on up in Seattle at the time. Whereas this time, it's going back to the desert. You know, Kyler's got to be a lot more comfortable. I think it's going to be really interesting. I think I do think they've got Arizona. If everything clicks together, they can pretty much blow MD out when given their chance. It's just, can they make that work? I think it's going to be Arizona. I like what Jonathan Gannon's starting to build there. I do think Seattle have got some great pieces as well. I think these are two teams that definitely should, be hopeful about kind of what their future is. Like you said, kind of when you look at this division, between the Rams and 49ers as well, you're not expecting to see these two at the top of that division, but here we are. It's very close. So I think just knowing what's on the kind of the horizon for Arizona as well, because if they can win this one, they're now going to 7-6 will be, I guess they'd be tied with Seattle. I don't see 49ers doing too much. Rams obviously have a difficult game, and then up next for them they have Patriots. That should be an easy win for them. Then the Panthers, then the Rams, and then the 49ers. So there's a lot of winnable games there. And again, that's another team that's going to be looking at this and saying, look, we can win this division. We can make the playoffs. And again, that's maybe a team that if they can go hot at the right time, some teams won't want to face in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you mentioned the schedule there, Danny, for the Cardinals. You look at the Seahawks, it's at Arizona versus Green Bay versus Minnesota, at Chicago, at LA Rams. That's a tougher running, I would say, between those two teams. No, I'm not. Well, okay. We'll see.
Mark them up as a win.
But I'd like to see Kyler just take this game over. Like, that's what he's there to do. He had a chance last week and he didn't take that chance. That last drive against Minnesota. That's what you're paid to do. That's what he's expected to do, and he didn't deliver it last week. So I'd like to see him just sort of take over, and because he's another player that I was impressed with at the start of the season. And I've just kind of feel like it's kind of faded a wee bit for Kyler. I'm not saying he's not played well, but just I'm not getting that same buzz of Kyler. I would like to see him just step up a wee bit in this one. I've got the Cardinals as well. Sorry, Keith, but just edging it. Like, I'm not surprised if it goes either way.
I don't expect to see you two back on the podcast anytime soon. No. Listen, I can see it, and it's one of those ones that seems to really be on a knife edge. It could go either way, but I think if the Seahawks can, with players like Leo Williams doing incredible stuff, then that would be 2 wins over the Cardinals. There's winnable games in that run in. The Bears one, it could be massive if we can get a result against the Packers. Minnesota would be a really, really tricky two really, really tough games, but then finishing off with a trip to SoFi to take on the Rams to possibly win the division would an incredible end to the season, but needs to start on Sunday with a big performance and hopefully a win for the Seahawks. Okay, I'm going against the grain on that one then. That's fine. That's fine. Fine. We mentioned there the Rams, and it's the Buffalo Bills who are travelling to SoFi on Sunday evening, 9:25 kickoff, Scottish time for that one. Wow, this could be. We've talked about 3 possible games of the week. This is certainly one of them as well. Danny, who are you most excited to see? Because on offense for both teams, there are incredible talents for the Bills and for the Rams. Who are you most excited to see here?
Buffalo. Josh Allen, for me, is the MVP. He's got to be the front runner. That passing, receiving, rushing touchdown all in one, whatever it was last week he had was remarkable. He is, and I know they're my divisional rival and their fans can be a wee bit annoying at times, but I would actually really like to see them do well this year. I think everybody expects them to take a massive step back this year with just, losing Diggs and thinking, who's their wide receiver one. But they look like a complete team. In this one, I like a lot of the pieces that the Rams have. I think obviously the Cup and Nakua, and they've got some great young defensive players there as well, and they're starting to build up again, rebuilding something good there. But I just think that this juggernaut of Buffalo is not slowing down. I think they've got to keep the pressure on Kansas. I can see them still going in there. I think they've got the better offense. I think they've got better defense. And I think they have the ability to take the ball away a lot better than the Rams do. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward. I'm actually really looking forward to see how much Amari Cooper and Josh Allen can connect, see if they can actually build something there, because that's good potential. Cooper comes across as a quite unassuming guy. He doesn't have that kind of diva persona that Diggs had, and so I'd like to see that develop and just see how they can make that grow. James Cook has been brilliant from this year. Finally, it looks like they actually have a run game that they can rely on. It's hard for me to see anything other than a Buffalo victory here. And I think, get away from the snow of upper New York State and going to the nice sunnier, mild climate that is LA. I think that will suit them as well. That will kind of just blow off some of the dust off their bones and set them up for the kind of the late December and January football.
They've already clinched the division, aren't they? Are they really that desperate to get the number one overall?
I think they are desperate to get it. This game, and then they're at Rams, at Lions. If they can get through those two ones, don't they? I think they finished with the Patriots twice and the Jets once. So,
yes.
Get through these next couple of weeks. I've got Josh Allen MVP front runner as well, just like Danny says. He's been incredible this year, and I was one of those people that thought the Bills will regress this year. Quite happy to see it's not the case. I quite like the Bills at this point. I do like Josh Allen. I think the Rams might turn up. I've got the Rams winning, just to be a bit different maybe, but they need both sides of the balls to turn up, because what they've had is they've had spells from the defense and the offense, but it's not at the same time and it's not complementary. This is a game where you need to have complementary football and special teams. You can't have any disasters. Let's just not lose special teams. And like I say, let's get Stafford going. Let's get the run game going. I think you can run on the Bills. That is one area that they've got to look at exploiting. And defensively, just contain Allen as much as you can. Don't let him run all over you. Make him throw the ball. Make him work for it at least. But they've got young talent there, and I do like the sort of look of the Rams. So I've got the Rams winning this and just trying to keep pressure on the other teams in their division, because, like we say, it's a really tight division, the NFC West.
One player that you mentioned there, I think will be key if it's going to be the run that's going to be done doing of the Bills, will be Kyren Williams, who's have fantastic season so far. He's fifth in the league with 926 yards, and he's got 10 touchdowns already. He's tied seventh for that. The guy's been absolutely terrific, and he just built on a fantastic debut season last year for him, really. So yeah, I think that might be a good one. I'm torn on this one. I really like the Bills. I like this new look team because they seem to rip it up and start again. Getting rid of Diggs, people weren't really expecting too much from them. But when you've got someone like Josh Allen, who is just an absolute juggernaut, who is really simplified his game this year. There's not as many turnovers. There's not as many pick sixes or anything like that. He's not a danger to his own team as much this year. Players that I like, you mentioned James Cook, but Khalil Shakir, I think, is a great weapon for him as well, and he's really reliable for Josh Allen. So I'm torn in this one. Puka Nacua, terrific. Some of the catches he's making week on week is just incredible. He's just going to be a dominant wide receiver for years to come in this league. I think you have to go with the hot hand here, and that is the Bills. And the Bills are having defeated the Chiefs in the past couple of weeks. I think they're hell bent on making sure whoever they get in the postseason, they're coming to upstate New York to take them on at Highmark Stadium, because I think this is could be the Bills' year. Right. Ooh, it's going to be some matchup. I'm going to be flitting between that and the Seahawks game late on Sunday evening. Other games we've got then for the late slate of games, the 9:25, the other kickoff there is the Chicago Bears against the San Francisco 49ers. Both teams just brought them up their divisions. I don't think we need to spend much time on them. Caleb Williams starting to come into a game a wee bit. He almost brought it back against the Lions last week, calamitous at the end. It's forced change in Chicago. They have a temporary head coach because of the results. And I heard on one of the podcasts today that the reason that they changed the head coach was not because of results. It was more the culture and how he wasn't taking any responsibility for the play call at the end, the mistakes, and he's just talking about how the team need to stick together. And some of the more senior members of the team were not having it at all, and they started to bite back, shout back in the locker room after the game. When the culture starts to go, when the mood starts to go in the team, you can see people turning and not following the head coach, then it is time to make that change. And to be fair, it probably could have done it a couple of weeks earlier. This is a rough start for Caleb Williams' Chicago Bears career. Is this something that they can pull back? And is this an enticing job for an up-and-coming head coach, maybe an offensive coordinator in Detroit somewhere, looking to spread his wings, maybe? What do you think, Andy?
I think the owner came out of the Chicago Bears and said that this is going to be the most coveted position in the league, but it's an organization that's been quite dysfunctional in many ways, hasn't it? Like, there's been a lot of overlap in the QBs and the head coach and the GM, that like they're never always on the same page. Like, and we've seen flashes of Caleb Williams in the game against Detroit. It was like a game of two halves almost. You've seen the poor side of Caleb Williams, where he was making bad reads, he was throwing it, making the wrong decisions, and then the good side where he was slinging the ball. It was almost like playing from behind, let's just go for it, and he looked really good. But like, no, Eberflus now, so no excuses. I don't know. Like, you've got, but having said that, you've now got DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and Swift all in the injury report. They've not been practicing this week. So is that them now just throwing the towel in on this season and saying, well, we lost that game. If we'd won against Detroit, we would have been in it for, say, like another week, and then let's play through all these injuries of such. I don't know how, from that side of things, but up against a team that's also got its own injury problems. Trent Williams not practicing, and that's a big. He is similar to like Penny Sewell. Like, they mean so much to the team and how they run their scheme that not having Trent Williams is massive to the 49ers. Obviously, no McCaffrey, we know that. No Mason, we know that. I think everyone ran to the waiver wires to try and get Isaac Guerendo for that role. So, like Brock Purdy, you've just got to step up and win this game. Like, you're vying for that contract, that like coveted. I want to be the 49ers quarterback with Shanahan, and I want to be the quarterback of the future here. So, you've got to win games like this no matter what, and battle through the adversity. And this is a team that I think you'd want to face right now, like I've said, with the injuries that the Bears have heading into it.
Is this the ideal time for the Shanahan's team then, Danny, to take on the Bears?
Yeah, why not? Like, it's hard to get excited about the 2 fourth place teams who just won the season that finished. You know, Brock Purdy, is he even fit? You know, Debo looks to just be off the boil. You know, is Kittle Liver really fit? And you see Williams there. You know, it's just there's something about this game, and it's just, well, who cares, sort of thing. Like it's going to be what it'll be. Whoever comes out fittest, I guess, might win. In fact, it's in San Francisco. Yeah, I think that gives them an upper hand. They'll probably win. To me, the fascinating thing about this is comparing the two and looking at them and saying, what is, like you're talking about, you know, what's the future for them? And again, I was listening to Kyle Hurd earlier, and he was saying that his take was that Chicago Bears should trade for Kyle Shanahan and get him in. He thinks that the 49ers team has run its course. You know, it's an aging team. They're not a lot of assets. They're going to be forced to pay Purdy. But is he the guy? He's banged up a lot. He's always sort of injured. They're always looking to their bench to bring him in. Whereas the Bears have, you know, a bit better pieces there. He would have better control. You know, he'd essentially pick up that GM kind of position as well. You know, and he's already the head coach and the offensive coordinator, so he might as well do the whole shebang for them. And really, if you're looking for somebody that's going to develop Caleb, who's better than Kyle Shanahan? Now, is he the type of quarterback that fits a Shanahan scheme? You know, he was always sort of a fan of sort of Mac Jones and Kirk Cousins and Brock Purdy sort of thing, where he prefers them to be sort of pocket passers and game managers. Does he want somebody who's going to go a bit more off script? There's no doubt the talent he's got there, but I thought that was sort of an interesting take, because I like, you know, we've had a lot of discussions in our sort of WhatsApp groups about, you know, if there was a redraft and a redo, where would they go and where would the quarterbacks go? And, you know, we like to wind up our Bears fan, Grant, by, you know, Caleb would be the fourth quarterback at the taking, you know, just throw that fishing rod out there and see how it goes. But, you know, no, not at all. He's a great talent. He's going to have a big future in this league, but he needs the right pieces around about him. He can't be playing hero ball every week. He's got to be supported. He's got to be developed the right ways. And so that's going forward. And then San Francisco, as I say, I think they're going to be in a bit of cap hell coming up soon enough. They're paying everybody all the big bucks. They're going to decide what they want to do with them, who's re-signing, who they're going to get rid of. Trent Williams, he's going to be back another year. He's getting on a bit. You know, he's going to try the avocado ice cream, the Brady route, who knows. So, but as this game goes, maybe we'll go for a draw. I'm calling it a draw. First tie of the year. No.
There you go. No. Is that a scorigami or not? I've checked this before. It's not actually. I think there's been a couple of really bad snow games that's put paid to them. The only thing with Caleb Williams, you mentioned that you need to put good people around him. This is going to be his third offensive coordinator. I think they've promoted the offensive coordinator to stand in head coach just now. You kind of feel for the guy a wee bit, but then you look and see that the talent that they've got in to support him. We've got Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Roma Dunze's there, Cole Kmet as well. He has weapons there.
Yeah, but
it's just whether
this was an offensive line that let the Patriots sack him 11 times. So
that's true. Okay, so a draw for Danny then. You know what, I'm going to go for I'll go for a draw as well. What about you there, Andy?
Well, I'm just going to go a draw as well then. Let's go 17, something like that.
That'd be amazing. That'd be absolutely amazing. I might put £1 on that just in case. Okay. Right, we've got the late Sunday night football game as the LA Chargers travelling to Arrowhead to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. Jim Harbaugh's Chargers are doing well. Justin Herbert is looking Beast is looking absolutely rejuvenated there. Taking on the Kansas City Chiefs, who are winning. They're stuttering a wee bit. Is this a possibility that the wheels could come off at home against the Chargers, Danny?
Yes. I can see this being a big banana skin game for them. I really like Chargers. I think what Jim Harbaugh is doing there is brilliant. Building them up the right way. Sorry, not the wrong way, the right way. I've said before, I think Kansas are a massively flawed team. They're getting by, they're winning, they're doing enough. They're certainly having help from the Zebras with some baffling decisions. But that's what happens when you're a winning team. Those things seem to go your way. But I just really like...
You would know.
I would know. I spent 20 years of watching it. These things just seem to always go your way. And then now I can see how frustrating it is for the other 31 teams. How are they getting away with that again? They must have sold their soul somewhere. But I do think, like you're saying, Beast. I don't like Beast. Come on, Herbert's far too beautiful to be called Beast, isn't he? That lovely flowing locks of hair
Bale.
and everything. He's the beauty to the Beast.
He is.
But
he's Bale.
I think they're starting to build up. You can see, I try to avoid the stats when it comes to the Chargers because they're progressing as they're getting through this year. They're looking better. I think Kansas are a big, massively flawed team. I know Pacheco coming back, first game back last week, I think it was, and did okay bits and pieces, but okay, he's got to find his rhythm again, get back up to speed. That's got to be a big piece for them. Obviously, at home, Arrowhead is always a big advantage for them, but I just think there's just too many unknowns, when they're in the cusp of defeat to the Raiders twice and, Denver and everybody else, I just think they're flawed and they just let teams hang about too long in games. They don't put them to bed. Carolina, it's a last-second field goal to win that game.
Yep.
That can only last so long until a well-organised team come up with good talent, well-led, and I think I can see this being a defeat for Kansas.
Ooh. What about yourself, Andy? Do you see Travis Kelce, who's been not as prominent recently, and Noah Gray's actually been more of a target for Mahomes than Kelce had recently? Kind of it's as if they're trying to either phase him out or maybe keep him for the postseason, as they usually do. Pacheco coming back, as Danny mentioned, is going to be massive for them. And am I right in saying Hollywood Brown could be back before the end of the season as well, which is, there's, like all great teams do, they're starting to get their pieces back together towards the business end of the season. Can they start getting their form at this time as well?
They've underwhelmed, but they're winning games, and that's all that matters. You just got to stack the wins. It doesn't matter. They're not playing like massively inspiring football. Maybe just Noah Gray coming into the fold is just another wrinkle to the offense. As things just get stale, and it's okay. We need to actually maybe use Kelce as a bit of a distraction, if anything. Put the two tight ends out there just to offer something else different. Because I don't think Xavier Worthy's massively. He's contributed, but it's not been maybe the pick that they thought it was going to be, where you take the top off the defense and then you let sort of your Kelce's and that work underneath. Hopkins has flashed a wee bit as well, and that's been nice, I guess, for the Chiefs. But I think Chargers missing J.K. Dobbins is massive, because if they had Dobbins in this, I would have been like, yeah, I'm going with the Chargers. I think the run game's definitely, it took a bit of a hit last week, didn't it? I don't think Gus Edwards really managed to run the ball with like great consistency. But then you've also got Lad McConkey, who's really come into a game, and that's been a
revelation.
I thought in the draft that was one of the back end sort of receivers that was gonna, in the first round, that was gonna be one of those guys that hits the ground, and he really has, with Herbert, who's kind of, he's a bit more mobile now. They've kind of got him running out a bit as well. So again, another team looking at a different wrinkle on the offense. But I'll stick with the Chiefs. It's not like, I looked at the records, 11-1 versus 8-4. You should be thinking, wow, this is going to be an amazing game. Offenses are going to be flowing, but I don't really think it will be. Like I say, I think the Chiefs have underwhelmed quite a bit. Maybe the Chargers are one of those ones that they get it right on the day and they do knock them off. But I'll go Chiefs in this one.
Yeah. 50-50 on this one myself. they just seem to have a knack. I keep comparing them to the Man United of the 90s. And I think the Chiefs are just know how to eke out results. Andy Reid just can get stuff, and Spags as well with the defence. They just seem to do enough. But I think this will be a really, really tight game. But again, the Chiefs are just going to... I think they'll get a connection with Xavier Worthy. He seems to be their deep ball threat, and he's been close in quite a few occasions, and it's not quite happened. I think this might be the game where he kind of sees his coming out party, I think. Yeah, okay, I'm going to go Chiefs in this one. I'm not happy about it. Not happy about it at all. Finally, we have the Cincinnati Bengals travelling to AT&T Stadium to take on the Dallas Cowboys. We actually had a question come in on X for this one from Chalk on the Boots. Can the Bengals and Cowboys both score over 40 on Monday night, Danny? Neither has a semi-competent defence. What do you say to that?
I think Cincy can. I don't know if I trust Dallas, to be honest. I think they're very limited in what they can do. But that defence is particularly... I was going to say surprisingly bad, given how good a defensive coordinator Lou Anaruno... Jesus. It's definitely getting late for me. I'm past my bedtime.
Anaruno. I struggled with Spagnuolo.
There we go. Yeah. But that defence has been atrocious this year, to be honest. And Burrow is playing like a man possessed. Any other year, you're basically putting your money in him as MVP. He's really taking his game to another level. He can move that ball. He can, quite clearly score 40 points. It doesn't really matter. He'll probably still lose. But I think this game comes at the right time for them. I think Dallas, again, I think we're seeing out the final days of Mike McCarthy here. And Mike Zimmer as well. I don't think we'll see him again in the NFL after this year. I think it'll be the end of that pairing, and I think this will be a win for Cincinnati. But high scoring.
Yeah. Like Cincinnati, they can easily score 40 points, and they probably will. Cowboys probably scored 40 points by 7 pick sixes or something like that. I don't know how. I think this one's a mismatch despite the records, 4-8. The Bengals, the Cowboys are 5-7. They actually have a better record, and maybe a very slight better chance of making the playoffs, despite it being in the low 4% or something. So yeah, I fancy the Bengals in this one. And then I was just looking, we've talked a bit with some of the teams towards the future. They have the 9th most cap space heading into next year, but I think Chase still needs pace, doesn't he? So Jamar Chase is going to take a massive contract. You're probably going to lose Higgins. So this was a year that the Bengals kind of really had to have it sort of pinned on as a good. I think Higgins is massive. If you look at his numbers, he is massive to what they do, in that they've got the 2 receivers that could both be in their own rights wide receiver ones. And then on the flip side, with the Cowboys, they've got the 10th least cap space, and I think they've still got to pay Micah Parsons as well, who is their standout player on defense. So it's an interesting time moving forward. I think Orlando Brown's doubtful for this game, so it could be another game for Parsons to sort of flash and wreak havoc, but I see Bengals winning this fairly comfortably.
I absolutely agree with you there. I think they've not got much to hang their season on, and it seems to be just their offense just scoring points, and they've got to try and outscore the opposition, because that's all they really have between now and the end of the season. Hendrickson's been fantastic for them in defenses as well. Possible player of the season, defensive player of the year. I think it's going to be high scoring as you say. Yes, the 40 points definitely for the Bengals. Depends if Rico Dowdle, who had a great game last week, can keep that up, because everybody know the kryptonite for the Bengals is their run defense, and they are absolutely atrocious at it. Rico Dowdle can get running downhill angrily, then there's a good chance that they could possibly get the 40 points as well. After that, it's whoever scores last will get the win, I think. Yeah, fantastic. Anything else you want to add, Danny?
Nah, to be honest. I think, again, you understand why Dallas are on prime time, to be honest, but it's just another one of these games. Will it really matter in the long run? No, because I don't see either of these teams making the playoffs. So, yeah, I think it'll be padding stats for Joe Burrow going forward.
A final question then for the two of you, gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining me again. It's been great fun. Really enjoyed chatting football with you. It's great with distraction for real life to come in and do this with you guys. So I really appreciate it. I'm asking you, who is your Hail Mary pick for the playoffs, and who could possibly make that legendary run to sneak into the playoffs and then go all the way? So looking at teams who have got a chance of getting in the NFC, you're looking at the Cardinals 27.3%, Rams with 17%. But then you're looking at teams like the Falcons, Seahawks, the Bucks possibly getting in there as well. Who's your fairy tale ending to the season? Who do you think's got a possibility? Sorry, before I go on any further, the AFC playoff chances then eliminated. You're thinking Miami, Bengals, they're all out. The Colts, 14.9% chance. Broncos, 79.6% chance to make the playoffs. And then you've got Houston, Chargers. So they're all in. They'll make it somehow. Who's your fairy tale ending to this season then? Andy, I'll come to you first of all. Danny, will finish with you.
So I had two written down heading into this. One from the NFC was the Rams. That was the team that I had. And that maybe ties in with them beating the Bills this week. Like, if they don't beat the Bills this week, then it'd be, okay, maybe not. Because I had them either, looking at the schedule, 10-7 if they can beat the Bills. And I would maybe that should get them in. And then from the AFC, I had the Dolphins, which you just ruled out. And now I'm hoping that mathematically they actually can make the playoffs. Because I thought
they can. They've got 7.6% chance.
Yeah, so we'll take the Dolphins.
You're saying there's a chance. There we go.
Yeah.
You're going for the Dolphins. There we go. Yeah. That'd be excellent. Danny, what about yourself?
I had the Dolphins as well and then you sent through the odds and I went some points like, crap, okay. And so I did a wee bit of deep dive, and the team I think they're really aiming for catching here is the Denver Broncos, who are 8-5 now. Miami going forward have Jets, Texans, 49ers, Browns, Jets. They could run the board.
Yeah,
that could be, so they could be 10-7 by the end of it. So we're looking at Denver slim up twice. They have the Colts, so I can see them winning that one. But then Chargers, Bengals, Chiefs. That's 3 tough games at Chargers, at Bengals, and then home to the Chiefs. You can see them dropping every one of them, to be honest, all 3 of them. So that's, if I was going for the Hail Mary and what it is, and I don't know what the odds of actually successfully completing a Hail Mary is, but I reckon they're probably about 7.6%. So they are mine. And again, it pains me to say it for another AFC East rival, but I do think they're clicking at the right time, and that's where kind of my 50p would go if I was a betting man.
Very good. Very good. Gentlemen, thank you very much. It has been an absolute pleasure. Thanks very much for listening and watching the crew. We have been the preview crew for week 14, and thank you very much for listening.